Hello and welcome to the World Reflexology Foundation. We are a group of reflexologists who have a passion for helping people have better health. And in fact, we have a belief that if people around the world had reflexology to use on themselves, that the world could be a healthier place. Our mission is to improve health worldwide through self-help reflexology. What's reflexology? Reflexology is a way of helping ourselves to stay in good health. It's called prevention. And if we do have aches and pains and different discomforts, then it's a way of sometimes helping us feel better. How is it done? Well, reflexology is done by using our touch in nurturing ways on maps of the body that are believed to exist on the feet, on the hands, and on the outer ears. And let's take a look at some charts that'll show you what reflexology is visually. So now let's take a look at the World Reflexology Foundation color coordinated chart. If you notice on the left, there's the human body, the lady, but it would be the same for the man, and the colors from the top to the bottom, from the top of her head to her feet. Well, we're going to take a look at those in a minute, but notice on the feet and hands, that they're also the same colors, going from the top down to the heel of the feet and the wrist of the hands. So let's take a look. Notice the purple color of her head and neck. That color is color coded. If you go to the toes, you notice it's the same purple color as it is in the fingers. That's indicating if you have problems, stress in your head and neck, that you would go to the fingers and toes to help get relief. If you come to the body again and notice the blue, that's for the chest area. And that means chest in front, heart and lungs inside, everything inside the chest, and then the shoulders and back, because when the shoulders are actually the top and back of the chest. And we go to the same color, the blue, on the feet and on the hands. And now if we go back to the human body, we look at the yellow and the orange. The yellow is upper abdomen, the orange is lower abdomen. And that's where you'd work on the feet, the yellow for upper abdomen, and the heels for lower abdominal pelvic area. And on the hands, similarly, the yellow for upper abdomen, the heel of the hands, the orange for lower abdominal pelvic area issues. So that's for the feet, hands, and ears as far as from the top down. Now let's take a look at the legs. Notice they're red, and you go to the small red spots on the feet and on the hands. Notice the cursor that's showing you. And then go to the arms. Notice the green representing the arms. And notice the cursor is going to show us on the outer edge of the feet, below the small toe to the heel, and also the outer edge of the hands from the small finger down to the wrist. And then down the middle of the human body, notice that there's something that looks like a ladder. And that's representing the spinal reflex area from the neck all the way down to the lower pelvis area. And if we go to the feet, notice where the feet come together below the big toe down to the heel. That's for the spinal reflexes on the feet. And then the hands, similarly, where below the thumb down towards the wrist for spinal issues. Then let's go to the ears and think when we were children, and we used to try to do headstands on the ears, headstands. And notice the purple is on the bottom instead of the top. That's because the image of the human body and the outer ear is upside down. So for head and neck issues, the purple, we'd work with the earlobe area. The blue is for the chest reflex area. The yellow and orange are for the upper and lower abdominal areas. The red is for the legs, leg reflexes. The green for arm reflexes. Shoulder all the way up to the finger top where the cursor is now. That would be for the fingertips. And then notice the spinal reflexes, that curved area. So these are the maps that we use for the feet, hands, and outer ears, showing you what the concept of reflexology and the reflexology pressure maps.
Greetings, everyone. Let's start with a little bit larger chart. This is just an enlargement of the chart that you have if you will download that or however you care to look at it. So as you can see, the area that we'll be looking and working on is right there where the fingers join the hand. So just under the knuckles, if you will. So you'll see that reddish orange line going across, and we'll see that all four of these are coming into use. So just like our ears, which are on the outside edges of our head, the outside two, the small finger, the finger in next to it, are the ear reflexes. And the next two fingers, the middle finger and the forefinger, represent where the eye reflexes are. So, having that in our minds as we move forward, let's all take a couple of deep breaths. 3 would be perfect. And then we're going to relax and we're going to show you just a bit of technique on what we're going to do. And then we're going to go ahead and do this all together. All right. So, starting with the ear reflexes on the outside, the pinky finger and the next finger coming in. So, as you see, the crease in my hands where the fingers meet the hand, that's going to be our main point. So, imagine that you have a small coin. In the US coinage, it would be like a dime. And you place that right in the center where the joint, where the finger meets the hand. Same thing for all four of these. So if you imagine you have that circular space, that's the space that we're going to be working in. So let's start with our thumb. We're going to do sort of a modified thumb roll, or there's different names for this technique, but it's a very simple movement using the tip of the thumb, moving upwards first, upwards, and upwards. I like to imagine that you have 3 to 5 lines in an area, and so you're working with on those lines. So upwards, also across, doesn't matter. And I'm not in a position to do this, but you also can do it, uh, downwards. So any way to work that dime-sized area on all the fingers. So these two, again, we're still in the ear reflex area. And isn't this about the simplest thing that you can do? Is you have your hands right in front of you. You could even be, at a meeting or at a luncheon, and you maybe you're not hearing the folks too well. So you start working these areas. So you start working this area. We It's late in the evening and you're not seeing completely clearly. Things are a little fuzzy. So we start working the eye reflexes. The eye reflexes. That same motion. That same motion. The middle finger. And then the forefinger. That same motion. So if you haven't already started, let's do this together. Everybody take your hands out and we'll start with the ear. The ear reflexes right along here, right along here. You can also move around the edges. We can move between the fingers, all in that area, all in that same area for the ear reflexes. And then the second finger in, same kind of movement, moving all around in all different ways. You could even do this with your hands in your lap, and you can know what you would know what you're doing. And so, moving now to the eye reflexes, the middle finger and the forefinger for the eye reflexes. Moving upwards, moving upwards, moving across a bit sometimes, moving across. Again, with the forefinger moving upwards, the eye reflex, moving up, coming across. Just imagine that dime-sized area, small coin right at the joint. And there you have it. So if you've been following along, you should be hearing a little bit better for the remainder two speakers and seeing a little bit better for what we're illustrating for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. I had to find myself and unmute myself. Um, that was great. That was great. Yeah, I feel like I'm seeing more clearly and hearing better already. And it is very simple. We have our hands right here. Okay, the next one up is going to be Lori. She's going to show us how to work the eyes and the ears reflexes on the feet. Lori.
Thank you, Kathy. So before I begin, I just want to put a plug in for Paul, what Paul was saying about using your hands. I was on a flight back to Boston, and when I was coming down, my ears were popping. So I was using the hand reflexology in the fourth and fifth area here, going back and forth to help with the popping. And it was very, very helpful. So just something to think about. So moving forward, um, I'm going to be I'm going to be showing you how to do it on the foot. And what I want to do is when I first started out with reflexology, I really had a hard time figuring out which was the ear, where the ears were and the eyes were. I don't know why. I just couldn't figure it out. So the way I now know, I go back to the anatomy, and this is the spine. So as Bill had mentioned, this is the area where the ladder is. So this is the spine here, and I'm thinking, okay, that's midline of the body. Here's my spine. So the closest thing will be the eyes, and then will be the ears. So the eye reflex is actually for where you need to go is on the second and the third toe, and it's at the base of the toe here. And there's like a little ridge here. So you want to kind of go in there. And similar to what Paul was saying, I like using this pointer finger. And this model, which is interesting, it's hard to get into, but you know what? People can have hammer toes. They can be cramped up a little bit more. So it's really important to kind of just get in there and kind of walk through. Let's see if I can show you a little bit better. Here's the ridge right here. And I'm just kind of going in and circling around, and both the second and the third toe right at the base. And it's right here. And for the ears, I like coming out onto the pinky toe. And again, on the ridge where the fifth digit is, or the pinky toe is, and kind of walking through here, getting in there, and very slowly working at it. And if you feel any pain or anything, you can circle on that and just take some deep breaths and just hold it. Now I'm going to show you how to do it on a real foot. Okay. So this is my demo. And bear with me while I work with the camera here. Now you can cross your foot on your knee. I'm lucky I do yoga, so I have like all the stretch here that I can use. But here we have the foot. Again, here is the spine. So we're going to remember that the eyes are closest to the spine. So the eye will be in the second and the third toe at the base. So here's my little ridge here. You can actually see the discoloration, which is also really helpful because this is the area where I'm going to want to go slowly. I'm going to take a deep breath actually, and just kind of circle along and kind of get that space in there. And I'm taking my time. There's a second toe. And then I'm going on to the third toe. I'm also pushing my toes out a little bit. It's more for the demo, but I think it also gives me more real estate to actually do it, to actually get in there. So there's the eyes. And again, I'm circling because there's a little bit of pain there. And then for the ears, for the ear reflex, I'm going to be going on the fifth pinky. And again, it's right at the base, right where the ridge is, which is along here. Slowly walking with my finger here. Fourth and fifth toe. And that is it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lori. That was really good. Very, very good. I hope you guys were able to follow along and work on your own feet. It's a little tricky sometimes. All right, next up with the ears, we've got Victor. Victor, take it away.
Thank you, Kathy. You can see from the handouts that were with your workbook for the eyes and the ears, doing the eyes on the ears on the ear. So as you can see for the eyes, at the middle of the earlobe is the reflex point for the right and left ear, right in the very center. And then for the ears on the ear, it's a little bit away from the face from the eye reflex. So I'll show you on a little ear that I've got and see if we can locate it. Unlike the eyes, I'm sorry, unlike the hands and the feet, the ears are a little less familiar to us, but they surprisingly have very much the same features on most people's ears. So it's kind of cool. But one way to kind of navigate the earlobe to find the ear and the eye reflexes is to kind of, there's like an imaginary hashtag that's on the ear that looks like a little tic-tac-toe grid. And basically for the eyes, again, closer to the center of, actually, you know what? I guess we should start with, yeah, okay, the eyes are in the middle. So this very center grid, that's going to be the location. And you're basically going to use your index finger with your thumb on the back, kind of supporting it. And here's where we're going to be doing the reflexing, gently squeezing and releasing, squeezing and holding, gently doing around in circles. And then for the ears, we're going to go out a little bit. So we'll go to the edge, towards the edge of the next to where we're doing it for the eyes. And it'll be this little part of the grid that's right in the center, but to the outside. So let's see if I can show you on my own ears and see if we can locate them. So go ahead and see if you can grab your earlobe and kind of get a feel for what it's like. And if you go to the very center of it, so pretty much just about there. So hopefully you can kind of see what that's like. So it's not at the edge, it's not next to your face. It's really right in the center. If your ears are pierced and they're center, it should be really close to that same spot. And so what I like to do is to find that one and then find the one on the other ear. So we're gonna go straight to the center, squeeze and release, squeeze and hold, and then squeeze and make little circles with your finger, with your index finger and your thumb. So what I like to do is have a table in front of me and put both my elbows on the table. And then let's do this, see if we can do this all together. And it really can be surprisingly relaxing, and a lot of vision and hearing as well is really related to how relaxed we are. And the more relaxed we are, the more our vision can clear up. When we get nervous, things get blurry and you can't hear, and so weird things happen. So the idea here too is to really think about relaxing your whole body while you're doing this. And as we breathe slowly in and out, not forcing one thing one way or the other, but just really be aware of your breathing. And as you do so, let's start. We're going to go ahead and start with the eyes in the very center. So right in the center on both sides. elbows on the table if you have one, and take a nice deep breath. And now just breathe normally, but really focus on your breath going in and out. And very gently, you're just able to kind of press and release, and press and release, squeeze and release. Now try gently squeezing and holding it. And now just focus on your breathing for a while. Breathing in, breathing out. Gently holding and squeezing. Feeling your shoulders drop. Relaxing your hands, relaxing your neck, relaxing your shoulders. Breathing in and out. And then see if you can make little circles with the tip of your index finger, the tip of your thumb on the back. Just do little circles. Stay aware of your breathing. Keeping your shoulders and neck relaxed. Your eyebrows are relaxed. Your face is relaxed. Your jaw is relaxed. And you might already start to feel a little different. And so now let's find the reflexes for the ears. It's a little bit further out from the center on both sides. And we're going to do the same thing. Take a nice deep breath and release. And now on that very edge of your earlobe, not at the very bottom, not next to the cartilage, but right in the middle on the edge, we're going to hold it. And for the ears, we're going to squeeze, gently squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Stay aware of your breathing. Squeeze and release. And squeeze and hold. And just hold it for a little bit. Put your feet flat on the floor if you can. Lean into the table a little bit if you're on the table. And keep breathing. And then when you're ready, start doing little circles between your index finger tip and the tip of your thumb. Do little circles, round and round. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck, your face, your eyebrows, your scalp, belly even. Take a nice deep breath and release. And that's the eyes and the ears on the ear. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I feel better.
It's good to see a lot of you working on yourself, following along, not only watching, but also working on yourself. That's the idea. And by the way, in this video, we had to go very quickly to cover a lot of information. What we encourage you to do is to, like I'm going to do with my voice now, is slow down. Spend a lot of time working on those reflexes as frequently as you reasonably can as well. Now, after you do reflexology, it's often suggested to drink extra fluids to help keep yourself hydrated. And coming back to the reflexes for a moment, remember the top priority is the one that you want to work on most. If you don't have time to do all three, be sure to do the first one if you can physically. We'd love for you to share this information, help us spread the information around. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and also non-vocational. So it's self-help work that we teach here. And one of the things that we could ask your help for, we already mentioned one, which is to share this with friends and neighbors, family members. But also, we would appreciate your donations. Why? Because although we all at the World Reflexology Foundation, we're all volunteers, it costs us money to get some of the projects done that we're working on. For example, we're translating a lot of the articles that are on the website. If you go to the website, worldreflexologyfoundation.org, you notice that there are a lot of articles there, and also they're being translated into other languages from around the world, a long-term project, and also the videos. And eventually we'll get to having all the videos with voiceovers from around the world as well. So all of these projects are ambitious. They do take quite a bit of money. So if you have the situation where you could donate, we would appreciate your helping us. Just be as generous as you can. But most importantly, it's not to help us with the projects as much as to help us get the projects out to the world, to help the world be, as we said at the beginning, to help the world be a healthier place through self-help reflexology. So bless you. Thank you so very much for being with us. And until the next time, we wish you very vibrant, good health.